So the next question is to you, Mrs. Obafemi. Now we've heard from previous panelists about discipline, and I think one of the panelists said inconsistency is a disguised form of indiscipline. So why do we have such problems? Why do individuals and even organizations struggle with reliability, consistency, discipline, follow through? And okay, let's start from there, then we'll ask the part two of the question. So why do organizations still have these problems and people?
So let me start by saying thank you, just like Topsy said, and thanks to SDJ and the team for having me here. Organizations see execution or delivering the numbers more like it's a personality rather than a system. So that's what I've observed over time. So they think it's about just the people. But what system, what structure, what procedure have you put in place to help the people deliver? We are in a performance appraisers time, end of the year, right? And of course, the youngsters, as we know it, people across all ages, some will come with a lot of excuses, confusing effort with outcome. But a lot of them, we look at them and we say, no, what about the outcome? We don't want you to talk about what it takes to get there, but why are you not there? Organizations need to ask themselves, have you removed the barrier to getting there? I had a tough conversation at the office yesterday, and we're just looking at the entire population, trying to, doing the performance appraiser. And in my workplace, we do what we call relative peer review. And there were questions around what has been done and what is the outcome. And of course, you see some managers already, saying all those systemic challenges, there's challenges, then why are you then the manager? So, to your question, organizations, why do we still have the problem with reliability? When you still look at only the people, yes, the people are there, they are your important asset, but you need to also look into your system, the fabric of your organization. What have you put in place to help the people achieve the numbers? I like numbers. I'm a commercial leader. So, and if the numbers are not coming, what are the hindrances? Have you removed the barriers to success? So, organizations and leaders alike across Nigeria, Africa, and the entire world need to start looking at standard operating procedure. Cannot just do it. What about the systems in place? The lady who spoke here about the app said something, she took an Uber to a workplace and look at what she's going to be. Some people will still take it. And then you have people who are struggling to get to work, struggling to exist, and struggling to deliver the numbers. If you don't have a healthy workplace structure and healthy people, you can't have people who deliver the numbers. It's just so simple. So I think let me just put a cap here, and then I'm sure there's still so much more to say.
Okay. So I love that you, thank you. I love that you've shifted the focus now from just the people who have the problems to the systems. So I'll come to you, Mrs. Obafemi, because I know you work in a multinational as well. So what kind of workplace cultures have you identified? Maybe not in yours, maybe anywhere in yours or anywhere else. What workplace cultures have you identified that would build trust and would just encourage employees and even employers, as it were, to do better and be better?
Okay, so I'm going to just lean on what Jimmy Tewe has just said now, and what I would add to it is acting with respect. And respect does not mean when you say sir, ma, and Mr., Mrs., and all of that. It's respecting the other person's view during meetings. It's not just wanting to be heard, but also seeking to understand others. It's also about my way is not the only way. And it is not about is it my way or the highway, or how do they say that? Yes, my way or the highway. There are a lot of young people maybe not just young people, are intimidated within the system. Over time, they've been shut down, from trying to raise their voice and give perspective. And it all rises and falls on leaders, just like Jimmy Terry had said. So, about the workplace culture, leaders, it's important that we start acting with respect. It's not just bottom up. It's also, top down and sideways as it can be. So if we can put that acting with respect in place and understanding that we all succeed together. It's about the team. A lot of people are so used to being individual achievers, and when they get to their next level, they cannot really understand how to be collaborators anymore. So they lose that touch. And you see people even hitting their colleagues at the back. Not literally, not like directly, but because they want to be seen, they want to be heard. So, and that's why I encourage something. There should always be KPIs that ties everybody together. Apart from individual KPIs, key performance indicators, there should also be shared key performance indicators. So that will ensure that people are listening to each other, and the ideas that you shut down, your next competitor might just pick it up tomorrow. At least let the key people, because I can't say everyone have a fair hearing, but at least let it be channel where people can, test, learn. It's okay to fail. We don't celebrate failures in corporate. Everybody wants to just say, we won, this worked. I'm looking forward to a day in corporate Africa where it will just be, let's share what the failures are and let's talk about it. Why did it not work? And from discussing why it didn't work, you would find a better way, just like is it Isaac Newton, that in trying to generate electricity tried how many times. So we always want to encourage, when people are sharing results, on corporate platforms, you would say, oh, we did this today, we got this, but no one ever comes up and say, I tried this, it failed, and this is what I learned.
Okay, now Professor Akingpelu's point. So I hope we took note of all of that. And the point on mentorship as well that you closed with, very important, because I myself had to unlearn everything I knew about mentorship. I think it was last year coming into this year. Mentorship is not about having access to XYZ person. Like, oh, I know this person, she's a big woman in the field. I mean, that's what I used to feel mentorship was about. But I like this version, apprenticeship. I think I would delve deeper into that very soon. So the next question was supposed to be on communication, but then you kind of already touched on that. So we'll just go into taking ownership, and I'll come back to you, Mrs. Obafemi. So from the first panel session, we've heard about how even as an entrepreneur, you can be, as an intrapreneur, you can take charge and, just have ownership. So what does that term even really mean in context of a workplace environment? Bear in mind, you're not the boss, you're not the manager, you're not the supervisor, you're not the owner, you're not even the owner's child. So what does it mean for you to actually take ownership in an organization?
Okay, so I had to put it off earlier. So ownership. Ownership most times is, we would say in some context, they would say is also accountability. And before you get to that point where you take ownership. Ownership means, you take the business as if it's yours, or you take that task as if you set the KPIs or set the objective. Before we get to that point, it's about, are you an excellent person? Are you predictably excellent? So that's a question I ask most young folks in my circle. If your name is put on a task, will whoever gave that task be sure that you get it delivered? Or they would have to look over their shoulder and ask questions and check in with you. People complain about being micromanaged. excellent performers or high-performing individuals don't have to, because over time they've been known to deliver, and whoever gives that task can already tell that it will get done. Some time ago, there was, I had this global boss, and in one of my landmark birthday, in the presence of all my colleagues, he said, you know, a number of persons have come to me to ask and say, why do you give those juicy projects, whether locally, internationally, to Ife? I will tell you today. It's because when I give it to her, I don't have to bother whether it gets done, because it will get done, not just whenever or however, even before time, it will get done, and will be done excellently. So now, I put the question not to toot my horn, but just to say that people are watching, your leaders, they know. If you have a team, you can always see how, for leaders, you can see how you tilt towards people who get things done. And it will look like it's favoritism. It isn't favoritism. It's because that person, and you wonder, you even say, why is this boss? Oh, this person is more inclined to, favoring that individual. It's because that individual gets them done. And I'm not negating the fact that there are some people who all they do is, they just, to whisper all the company gossip to the boss, and the boss, because wants to have their own ear within the people. But there are people who are genuinely excellent, who take on tasks. That's back to ownership now, as if their life depends on it. It's not about motivation or whether you get paid well. Like I said, no job place can ever pay you well for the services you render. And I think that's why the Bible is very clear. It said, whatever you just do it as unto God. Just do it as unto God. And you'll be surprised where the recommendation would come from, where where your voice will be heard, even when you are not there. So for entrepreneurs, for youngsters, for people who are in their early to mid career, my take ownership, yes, but before you can say you take ownership, what is around it is about excellence. Are you a person of excellence? Could you deliver on time, and not just on time, but in full? Are you reliable? Are you predictably excellent? So let me just say predictability here now. So are you predictably can say, no, she'll get it done. He will get it done. In as much she is there or he is there. I have people like that in my cycle, even in my workplace. Even simple team bonding, the way they would take it as if their life depends on it. And the leaders, we're saying it. Just a simple task, put people in groups, and then this person will be like, we are winning. And I'm like, okay, take it easy. It's just team bonding. But then it starts from those small, and it gets translated into their everyday delivery. So that's how I want to say ownership.
Amazing. Okay. So, Ma, your closing statement in...
Okay, so this is what I would add. Honestly, we have an excellent panelist, and they've said it all. But there's a gist that I also want to add. But I think it's centered around don't be a village champion. Huh? Sometimes you are in your own space, and you think you are the best thing after what? So I think over a decade ago, my first global project was to launch this fast-moving consumer goods in multiple countries, and I had to be part of people from selected individuals, of course, high-performing individuals from different nationality. So the first virtual meeting we had, and the lady who took notes, it wasn't the time of artificial intelligence where you can already set that for meetings. Just almost like 2 minutes after the call, she had already sent the summary with key, actions, timeline, individual. I'm like, for me at that time, if I still do it like tomorrow, I'm still excellent. Like in my workplace, I was still seen as, because some people would do theirs in a month or 2 weeks or, but I do mine in 24 hours. And somebody did hers in less than 2 minutes. It's more or less like we were ending the call and the email came in. So, and I learned something. So I said to my Ife, you can actually do it also. And that also sharpens me. So what am I saying? Don't be a village champion. You know, you're here in your workplace, you're here in Nigeria. This is not where it all starts and ends. I think Jimmy Tawe already mentioned, have an excellent work ethics, such that it can cross borders beyond the confine of where you are. That's how you set yourself up for success. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, am I on? No. Okay, thank you so much. Please, another round of applause for our panelists. We've come to the end of this session.
Thank you so much.